Hi, this is a Minute of Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now, this week I want to talk about the app market bubble. Okay, so a few weeks ago I went to go see the movie The Big Short, which is really good. I really enjoyed it, but it got me thinking a lot about the app market and whether or not we're in a big tech bubble or anything like that. It reminds me a lot of some of the other bubbles we've been through because I'm in my early 40s, so I've been through a few of them. Because I can remember back in the late 90s, I was a web developer, 98, 99, in the early 2000s, all the way up to becoming an app developer, I suppose. And I can remember I was working for this small company in the early 2000s, and quite a few people came to me and said, hey, Eric, you're a web developer. I don't understand why you're not releasing this big website, a big website to make millions. And they said, I tell you what, I'll give you my idea, and the two of us could partner on it. You code it, I'll be the brains behind the operation, and then we'll make millions. Right? And fortunately, I never did anything like that. But because eventually, what happened is the bubble burst. Everyone lost confidence in the web, and calmer heads prevail. People started to realize you couldn't just release a website and people would go find it, spontaneously and start spending money on it. But I was pretty well employed, after that. So once the tech bubble burst, which is what we referred to it in the early 2000s, 2002 or whatever, then I got a lot of corporate jobs. I worked for a lot of investment banks, building websites for them, and not external facing websites, but just stuff for their employees, for their contacts, and all that kind of stuff. So it was very much a very much gainful employment afterwards. Later on, like in 2006, 2007, I could remember working at an investment bank, and it seemed like everybody around me in the same job that I was had more than one house. They were, some people had like 5 or 6 houses as rental properties because it was getting so crazy where everybody was getting into real estate as an easy way to make money. And they were, telling me that I should get into it. Now, the reason I didn't get into it was not because I saw it as the big bubble that it was and that I was smart. It was more from fear. Like I didn't want to get involved in all that kind of stuff. And luckily I didn't, because a few short years later, or the next year, then that bubble burst and a lot of people lost their houses and all that kind of stuff. But it was more the frantic way of that. So people ask me if I think now the app market is a bubble, and I have to say absolutely yes. Right, we are such a bubble, right? And the reason I say that is because you see a lot of irrationality at the moment, the same way you did in the early days of the web, right? When we look back at those days in the early 2000s with pets.com and all that kind of stuff, we could see it for as crazy as it was. But but everybody was kind of swept up in it. And this is what you start to see with the app market too. It's people have these, they have this idea and they think that the idea is just going to lead to millions, or we'll see something like a big purchase of an app by like Google or something like that, and we'll think, oh, that was just a guy starting out in his garage. I could do the same thing. So people are spending like a lot of money to produce apps, and it's irrational, because when you consider how many apps are actually being released, thousands per day onto the app market, it really is hard to be found. And I'm starting to see the shift now. Kind of, if the bubble hasn't already burst, it's going to burst soon, right? So I get like two types of people who contact me. First, I get individuals or companies. So with individuals, a lot of times it's somebody who has a big idea that they want to try, and they think it will make money, and it's really hard for me to gauge that. They'll ask my opinion as to whether or not it will make money, and I can't say one way or the other, because I had the same thing with my app. EarSpy, my biggest app, was the first one I released. It was my idea. It continues to generate income for me. I don't have to work if I don't want to because of this app. I mean, it does work. You can make money through apps. However, it's not the runaway hit. I'm not a millionaire. I don't live in the mansion yet. But the other type of client that does come in is a company, and it's like a lot lately. It seems to be more companies are moving it the same way with the web, where it stopped being the lone individual who wanted to set the world on fire, but it came the investment banks or whatever who wanted to build something for their employees. So lately I've been getting a lot of clients who are just, they say, hey Eric, we've got these these couple hundred users or a few thousand users, or all of our clients need a tool that they can do such and such with, and they're not looking to become rich, but they're looking to have something to help their clients. So it's I think we're at the point now where the app bubble is going to burst, if it hasn't already, and cooler heads will prevail. Now, what that does not mean that you cannot make money through apps, but it means that you have to be more realistic with your expectations. Just like when we look back at the early days of the web didn't go away, but people stopped being so irrational about it. People started looking at it more as an investment. Say, I'm gonna work on this website. Just because I release it, then I have to start looking at ranking it well in Google. I have to start working at conversions as people get to it, all that kind of stuff. And when you look at a movie like The Big Short, you start looking at it, years from now, we'll look back at this time and thinking, hey, do you remember how everyone went so crazy about apps? Do you remember when someone had an app idea, they would carry it around with them and not let anyone look at it and pretend it was gold? But and that's the way it's going to be. So yes, we are definitely in an app bubble, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to work out well for us in the future. But cooler heads will prevail, and those of us who are going to stick with it, which is my intention at the moment, will do well. Okay, so that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you next week. Hey, I really hope you liked that video. Now I do these once a week, so if you want to hear more, or you want to hear more about our experiences with the App Store, either Google Play or iTunes, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and please like this video and leave a comment. I love reading the comments. I love hearing what you have to say, even if it's just hello or whatever. And like I say before, if you're not sure what to say in a comment, like I never know what to say in a comment, I'll make it easier for you. Like if you liked it, just go ahead and say gnarly, which is an 80s term, or if you didn't like it, just say bogus, and if you didn't think any of it, just say right? So that would be a big help. And another thing you could do, which I'd really appreciate it, if you're on the App Store and you want to try one of our apps, look up some of the Overpass apps applications, either on iTunes or Google Play, and leave a review and let us know what you think about it, either good or bad. But it's we're all trying to build up in the market, so that would be a big help. So that's it. I'll talk to you next week.